Saturday around noon, and this beach should be jammed, but we've had heavy rain and chilly weather for the last couple days, so it's empty. But on a nicer day, this place really gets hopping. At the peak of the summer for the fireworks, we'll get 500,000 people just on this beach. It is what the Statue of Liberty would be to New York, you know? The problem is, there's a fight right now going on between the city and the Parks Board. The city wants to absorb the Parks Board, and the Parks Board does not want to be absorbed. And so once this report came out, which was commissioned by the city and the Parks Board together, the city voted it down. We're at the foot of Chilco Street right here, and this part is part of phase 1 of the plan, where they're going to build 2 islands off the coast, and they're going to be like a nesting site for birds, and they'll also mitigate the tidal damage that can happen from rising oceans. And then this whole area right where I'm sitting will be a tidal plain, so it won't be so formally separated from the seawall. You won't know when the human part ends and the natural part begins. But there will be a boardwalk that will be elevated, that will swoop way out over the ocean. One of the few good things to come out of COVID was this huge double-lane bike path. Amidst the pandemic, the city decided to shut down this road and make about a 2-kilometer long bike path that's super wide. So it's great for beginner bike cyclists. It's become a beloved part of English Bay, and I hope it expands. The problem is it separates the beach from Morton Park here, and you can see the foot of Davy's also been closed down, so the whole park is kind of broken up into chunks, and to get across this road on a busy day is treacherous. So the city is planning to make the cyclists go around the outside of Morton Park, which is basic, very simple, and absorb the park right into the beach, so this all becomes one big park. It's a great idea, and I think it's the only part of the plan that the city has adopted. The rest they voted down. But let's just, while we're here, talk about the public art plan. Morton Park is the home to Amazing Laughter. And Amazing Laughter has been here for about 10 years. Chinese artist, part of the Vancouver Biennale, and then purchased by the city after the Biennale was over. At first I kind of got creeped out by these sculptures, but they're just constantly being interacted with by tourists, so they're obviously very, very successful, and I don't know, they're really fun in a weird way. But the public art plan for this area as part of the 30-year West End vision is huge, and one of the first sections that they want to add public art to is right here at the foot of Chilco, where that raised boardwalk is. They want to put in a public art sculpture that is affected by the tides, which I think is a very cool idea, and I want to participate. I already have a new sculpture in English Bay, as you know, my marine environmentalist, and I want to put something much bigger here, controlled by the tides. And the first sort of strike at it is these lamps. I'll just show you. They go up and down with the tides. Very simple, but I think they would be fun. Not very sculptural though. I'm sure I could come up with something a little more inventive and fun. We're on top of the Vancouver bathhouse. Originally built very small in 1905, and then replaced by this monstrosity in 1932. It's kind of an intimidating place to enter, especially if you're young. It's dark, a lot of concrete. The bathrooms are kind of creepy. but it's on such a beautiful beach. And the plan is to keep the original 1932 facade and gut the whole thing and turn it into a garden. Okay. It's an unusual idea. So I met a tourist from New York in English Bay, and I'd like to introduce her. This is Maya. Come on in, Maya. Let's have a discussion about this place. Have you been here before?
Eric, it was, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so nice to meet you.
You too.
It's so nice to meet you. So yeah, I'm visiting the city for the weekend. I live in New York City, and gosh, I would do anything to have a space like a public space like this.
Then further down, where the aquatic center is, which is aging, it will be replaced by a brand new aquatic center. Like a giant ancient pyramid hidden in the forest, the Vancouver Aquatic Center is slowly falling apart. Pieces of its ceiling fell into the pool last year, and they had to close it down temporarily. The front entrance fell apart. They've rebuilt it. So it is time for a brand new one. It's on such a magnificent location, and yet there's no windows. You can't see anything from the inside. And next to it will be a boat storage facility where you can bring your own small boat, like a kayak or a canoe, and store it there, so you could live in an apartment here in the West End, walk down to the beach, get your boat, and in 5 minutes be out on the ocean. I mean, is that great or what? This gazebo is one of 5 originally donated to Vancouver. It's the only surviving one, but it's tucked away in these heavy trees and is used sporadically in the summertime for concerts. Very pretty, but underused, often occupied by homeless. They hope to move it down to this corner so it's visible from Beach Avenue, becomes more of a prominent concert venue. I think it's a great idea. It'll be expensive to move it from there to here, about 200 feet. This 166-page report is very thorough, but there's a couple things missing. The iconic Inukshuk that's been in English Bay for 40 years isn't anywhere in the report. Maybe on purpose. Maybe this is a time to replace something that is Inuit with something that's more local, Coast Salish or Musqueam. I don't know. Also, glaring, is the fact that we're sitting in English Bay in the province of British Columbia, whose capital is Victoria. The whole thing is kind of embarrassing, and I wish we had the will to change it. The First Nations name for this beach translates to soft under feet, and I think that's kind of a lovely name. I'm not sure if that's the name they use for every beach, but it's a great name. I understand the strangeness of having a parks board separate from the city. It's the only city in Canada that has a parks board that's elected separately. But you know, changing that would be complicated, and it won't actually reduce the chances of jerks being in the parks board. You know, I've met some parks board officials who were total jerks, and others who were fantastic, the current ones included. And I think we should just keep things as they are and try and spend our energy, which is always limited, on improving what we have. Okay? All right, that's my 2 cents. Until next time.